Harry Neal used to say, you knew you were having a good season when you looked at the out-of-town scoreboard and there were no other games. You know, you were in the final. There weren't any out-of-town scores. And this was the feeling, of course, Game 7. You knew there wasn't going to be another game. This is it. You couldn't possibly play any more games.
Very few guys get the opportunity to win a Stanley Cup. The window of opportunity just comes along every now and then. For some, it never comes. And I was thinking, wouldn't this be fantastic for this team to win a Stanley Cup? That's what was going through my mind, that could they duplicate what they did in Game 6? Because if they could, I was confident that this team was going to come home and Trevor Linden was going to get off the plane holding the Stanley Cup. The Canucks team captain, he was going to have the cup.
That afternoon of the game when I was attempting to sleep and just thinking, you know, I'm one game away from carrying the Stanley Cup around the ice, you know, and that's, you know, I could be carrying the Stanley Cup around Madison Square Garden, you know, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And so that was just the the emotional excitement and the mental strain, and it's incredible.
During that day of the game, I tried not to think what would it be like to carry that cup or get a ring. I tried to get that out of my head, and I'd listen to tapes from a friend of mine and try to relax you and stay focused on what, you know, was to come, and to know it was going to be the last game, no matter what, that was played in NHL that year was something that you pretend you're doing when you're a kid playing road hockey. 7th game in the Stanley Cup Finals in the biggest city.
I can remember in New York walking to Game 7. Our route from the Grand Hyatt Hotel, which is down on 42nd Street, is by the New York Library, which is a magnificent building. And beside that is Bryant Park, which is a really nice park. And you sort of zigzag, and you're into the theater district on 42nd, which is near where Madison Square Garden was. It's quite a long walk. It would be a, you know, 40-minute walk or something like that. But it was a beautiful, sunny afternoon, and the Canuck bus comes up and stops beside me at a stoplight, and the guys are sitting on the bus very quiet, and I'm walking on the street by myself, and I turn and look, and Tim Hunter's sitting on the bus on the window on the left side about 4 seats back, and he sees me and he gives me the thumbs up. And he's the only one on the bus who reacted, but Tim Hunter did, and I never forgot that.
This is really magical stuff, isn't it? It really is. And I think of 1 inch, Nathan Lafayette. If he puts the puck in the net, I know Vancouver would have won a Stanley Cup. They were carrying the play. The Rangers were back on their heels. 1 inch. 1 inch away from the greatest feeling a hockey player could ever have, and that's winning the championship.
I remember just after the bell sounded for the end of the game, Trevor Linden was in the corner to Richter's right and was on his knees, just exhausted, because Linden had terrific playoff, as did everybody on the team, really. And he was just completely whipped. And there he was on the ice, and teammates were coming over too. But they were just completely exhausted.
It's interesting because I broke my nose like 2 shifts before the end of the game, so I was actually